Hey Queen, welcome to this episode of the Wealthy Women podcast. I'm so excited to have you. My name is Rebecca Barr, aka the Femalepreneur Coach. Welcome into this week's episode, and it's a good one. It's going to be quite brief because I want to keep it really action-packed and focus more on like the strategic elements of what I'm going to be sharing with you rather than all the emotional elements of it, which you can see in all of my socials and my stories and all the things. So the whole theme of today's episode is to ramp up your revenue with retreats. So I recently came back, literally just a week ago, from hosting my very first luxury retreat in California. So Santa Monica and Malibu in California, which was absolutely incredible. And here's the thing, a retreat has the power to add so many different zeros in revenue to your business. And it's a really incredible way to deliver your services, to create an up-leveled experience for your clients, and also to add some fun to your business as well, which I think is part of the ingredients of longevity in business, is always having something really exciting, something that is going to push you to your next level, something that is really fun to look forward to, not only for you, but for your audience. So in today's episode, I'll be breaking down all of the steps that I went through to create and deliver this incredible luxury retreat. So essentially, the idea came to me at the beginning of this year. And it was a bit of a download. It was just a thought, because for me, I always talk to my clients about alignment, travel, and having this cohesive approach to your business where you're not having to separate off parts of yourself. So for me, travel has always been such a huge part of what makes me me, and it's such a huge passion for me. So I was looking at the way that I'm delivering my services in my business. I was looking at the current audience inside my communities, i.e. my mastermind, and thinking, how do I take things up a level? And for me, that felt like, actually, I need some more synergy and alignment here. I need to incorporate all parts of myself into this mastermind, because I really want to up level the experience for my clients, but I also want to really focus on this one thing to scale this year. So I always say energy flows where focus goes. Let your main thing be your main thing. And for me, that was the mastermind. And then looking at how I would scale that, it was by providing these elevated experiences, bringing in the travel element. Like I say, that is such a huge part of who I am and who I've always been. Just felt like the perfect alignment of all of the planets aligning and all of the things. So I made the decision and set the intention at the beginning of the year that this year was going to be a retreat. And again, it came from my own business planning, where I was looking at the year ahead and thinking, what do I want to do? What do I want to achieve? Where do I want to go? What do I want to invest in? And there was a retreat that was taking place in New York, actually. So again, I joined a mastermind, they had a retreat in New York. Now, as it turned out, that actually got cancelled later as the year kind of progressed. So that never happened. But again, when I was sitting with myself at the beginning of the year thinking, what do I want to invest in? I had 2 luxury retreats on the table that I would be attending. Then thinking about what I wanted to deliver and seeing the possibilities of this, because not only was I planning to attend those retreats, I was going to bring my children with me, because I really feel, again, incorporating those all parts of yourself into your business is really important. And I hated that I've attended many retreats in the past, and I hated the fact that I always had to leave them behind and always had to choose, and then felt guilty about being away for so long. And I thought, if I'm going to travel to the other side of the world, I need to bring the kids with me. Obviously, those 2 retreats didn't work out. But what came forward was, I just need to do my own. And then when I was thinking about where do I want to go, for me, California is a really special place. I have an incredible business connection, which was my photographer, who is now a friend. So I thought it would be an amazing opportunity to create an opportunity for business for her and to collaborate on such a lovely project together. And then I started to kind of the concept started to come together very organically from there. So then I was thinking I could take my kids with me. And not only so here's the actual backstory as well. And apologies to my brother if he listens to this episode, but essentially I was looking at planning a summer holiday with my brother at the beginning of the year, and all of the suggestions that were coming back just didn't feel expansive to me. They didn't feel exciting. We're kind of in slightly different seasons of life and different places. but for me, having that family holiday is really important for the kids, so the nieces and the nephews to all be together. But where he wanted to go, it's like, I have been there so many times. This now the holiday doesn't feel exciting and expansive and fun. It feels like an expense and something that I need to tick off my list. And then I was like, why is that? Why am I feeling that way? Am I just really snobby at this point? And it was like, no, I just felt like I wanted to create this elevated experience. I wanted to have a holiday where I was genuinely excited to go. And if I'm going to put lots of money into it, I want to have that. I don't want it to feel like an expense. And it sounds like an absolutely bratty thing to say, because, you know, a lot of people don't get holidays. But again, as I said, travel is such a huge part of my motivation and who I am. I really wanted that. So then I was thinking about it abundantly, like, how do I creatively fund this holiday, make it something really incredible, but also just really maximize it. Again, that's where the retreat came in. Not only did that give me an opportunity to travel to the other side of the world, bring my kids, but it also funded our family holiday as well, because of the revenue that I made from the retreat. So that's the thing. Your business doesn't have to be separate to your life. It gets to enhance your life, and the other way around, by having that wholeness and that integration. So once I'd made the decision that I was going to be hosting this retreat, it had to be California. I wanted to include this incredible photographer, Lola, that I'd used a couple of years before for my own photography branding shots, and the pictures were absolutely beautiful. So I was like, I need to work with her again. Then I obviously had to go out and sell it. So first of all, I had to decide on the concept, like, who is this for? Why would they want to come? What is the vibe? What is the intention? What is the experience that they're going to have once they sign up? So for me, again, I wanted this to feel like a really elevated luxury experience, a real treat for the right woman who is looking for deeper connections, more meaningful conversations, that wants time and space to work on her business as opposed to in her business, that is ready to embrace like the feminine healing and realignment and transformation that you can get from a retreat, but also wants the masculine strategy and, again, that laser focus and intention on what they need to do when they come away from it. So I wanted something that was like a balance of the two. So then when I was thinking about that and thinking about delivery, I have two particular business friends that are also my very good friends. I wanted to open a door and create an opportunity for them also to travel and come with me. So I had one that was like the masculine social media strategy, and one that was a beautiful breathwork facilitator. So that's Jessie Lorte and Sarah Smile Scott. They were very happy to come, but obviously had to factor in those costs to the retreat also. And it just felt like when we'd gone through, it also then gave me a team to creatively brainstorm with, which is so important in business. Like, when you're alone, there's only so much you can achieve. There's only so much brain power that you have. There's only so much creative vision that you have. When you tap into the collective creativity of other incredible women who have also had some experiences that they could bring to the table about what good looked like, what bad looked like, it just meant that we created something really special together. And once we had that itinerary and the intention and the vision and I had a clear idea of who I wanted to be there, then I could go out and start to sell it. So the first thing I did initially, the first iteration of the retreat, was going to be where I just hired a venue and the women would sort out their own accommodation, their own travel. And that's how retreats have been facilitated for me in the past, where the host just basically hired this venue for 2 days. You just kind of did your thing and you turned up on the morning, you learned and you went away. And that's how I was going to do it. That's absolutely the easiest way to do it, because it's minimal outgoings on the front end before you've sold it. It's minimum pressure and hassle and stress having to like logistics and travel and all the things. But it also makes it a much more accessible price point for the guests that are attending, because, whether they want to spend £1,000 a night in a hotel, they can. Whether they want to spend £50 a night, they can. And again, that's another reason why I chose California, because there is no end of like abundance of hotels and accommodations, but also flights. So flights were really economical. They were like £300 for most of the women that came. Obviously the price fluctuated depending on when they booked. So therefore the itinerary was flexible. So they, as long as they're there for the 2 days, and I had a VIP dinner in the evening on the first night, before we started the following day, they could do what they wanted. So that's what I loved, the flexibility of that location. Also, it wasn't somewhere where it's like one flight in and one flight out. There's like hundreds of flights a day. So some of the women literally arrived on the Tuesday for the dinner. Some came in like days before. I obviously went the week before with the kids. Some people stayed with partners in separate hotels. Some people just came as they were by themselves. Some people came with friends. And it was really, really super flexible. And I wanted that flexibility for the women. We're all adults here. Depending on whether you've been to California before, some wanted to like really extend the trip and make the most of it. Some were like, I'm good, I'm in and I'm out. So I love the flexibility of that arrangement. Definitely something worth considering. But then equally, as time went on, I was struggling to find a venue that was the vibe, the energy, the ambience that gave me the flexibility that I wanted to do all of these wonderful things. So we did like a movement session. We did, we did some breath work. We did lots of content creation, we did photo shoots, we did planning, and to try and find a flexible space that did all of those things, it just wasn't happening. So therefore I decided to take the cost on myself and hire a Malibu mansion that was thousands of pounds for those 3 days and just go all in on creating this incredible, beautiful, abundant experience that activated the women in ways that they possibly wouldn't have done if they were not staying at the same location. So it meant that I could also then offer accommodation to the majority of the women that came to the retreat, which was really lovely because, again, that just enhanced the experience. So that's another way that you can do it, is to offer a retreat venue or accommodation as part of your costs. So I didn't necessarily include that in the cost though, because I'd already set the price. So just on that note around pricing, be aware of all of your outgoings. So for me, as I said, I wanted this to feel like a really abundant treat to self and a really incredible experience. So from the offset, I'd already built into my costs, first of all, the cost of my holiday with the family, but also the cost of taking the 2 facilitators with me. So all of their costs that I paid for, also the photographer, because you want to leverage the shizzle out of this retreat as you're doing it, and you don't want to have to be the one that is sitting there like with a phone and trying to take selfies and doing all the B-roll behind the scenes content. You want somebody completely impartial and separate that can really capture the essence and the vibe of what it is that you are creating. But equally, I budgeted things like the little extra touches, because I know how symbolic it is, having done it myself and made these big investments into retreats, leaving my kids. It was a symbolic step in my personal development and growth journey, my business journey, my CEO journey. And I wanted to really commemorate that and make it special for the women that joined us. So I had welcome gifts. I had like personalized luggage, tags and passport holders. I had personalized stationery created, so they received like a beautiful like gold embossed, like really expensive invitation and confirmation with all the details and everything they needed. They received that as a welcome gift when they booked onto the retreat, which they all loved to open, and I got lots of great social content from that, so they loved to receive it. Then obviously at the retreat, I did the VIP dinner the night before because, again, I wanted to bring the women together. I wanted to lower those inhibitions and boundaries, get to the good bit of creating those meaningful connections and having the powerful conversations. So again, found an incredible restaurant in Malibu that had all of the vibe and energy. It was a leading hotel of the world, so it really set the tone from the offset if the mansion hadn't already done that. Then I gave them welcome gifts that helped them to implement and integrate the learnings. So and thinking also, it's these little touches. So I have a background in events. Some people might not know that. I used to work and travel around Dubai and Egypt and all across Europe, doing large scale conferences, events, exhibitions, sales meetings, to more intimate events for corporate clients. And I know the power of those little touches. So, they're in California, they were talking about going hiking. So I got them water bottles. They're going to be doing a lot of reflection work throughout the retreat. So I bought them journals. I wanted to help facilitate this self-trust in themselves, that they always know how to make the best decisions. So I got them pendulums that they could then use. We had like citrine crystals, highlighters and pens, and just all of these beautiful, obviously, copies of my book. not silly. And these other little touches that were all kept in this beautiful, tote bag that again was very much the vibe and the energy of the group. They weren't cheap, tacky, branded throwaway bags. They all still use them now, and they send me pictures. They were beautiful, like on brand tote bags that are beautiful. I've got some myself, my sister got one. And it was just amazing. So that again was something that was really important to me. Other costs, I think obviously catering, because I needed to factor that in if I was then hosting. We had, and the good thing is about the States is that they actually have Uber Eats. So I just set up an account, and we had that. And I think that was pretty much in terms of marketing them. So those were the costs. Obviously factor all of that in. If you are, I know other people that have retreats and everything is included: the flights, the transfers, the food, the activities, excursions, photographers. So there's lots of other costs that you really need to be mindful of from the get-go before you set the price, because you need to ensure that you're operating in profit. And not only was mine profitable, but it also then it meant that there was so much profit it could then fund my family trip, which was essentially me paying for like 10 of us to go to LA, took the kids to Universal, Disney. Like, we had all these beautiful moments, days out. We stayed in the Hilton in Santa Monica. I paid for my sister to have a suite. It was a real moment for me, and I didn't take that lightly. So, that had to be factored into the costs also. And that's the thing, there's always lots of ways to get to the same outcomes. So always think bigger when you're trying to do these big things and make these big moves in life. Always think like bigger. Don't just think about the practical, I need to save for a holiday, because actually I got my holiday paid for, which was lovely. And then the last thing was sales and marketing. So I marketed this on socials every step of the journey. When the initial concept came out, I had a wait list. I offered those people beta launch prices to kind of come with me on my first retreat. I made invitations. The women in my mastermind were also, that when I then relaunched my mastermind, that was included as a bonus. I documented all parts of the journey. So to build the excitement, to set the concept and the vibe and the energy, and to just call in the right women, and the reality is all of those women that were there were no hard sells. There were no sales calls. There were no application process, all those things. Like, most of them I knew very intimately, or we had a conversation in the DMs and they were a hell yes, based on everything that they'd seen on socials. So that's the thing. The beautiful thing with a retreat is it doesn't have to be this whole big sales process for you. It can just be the right people that are meant to be there, will be there, that are in keeping with your values and your energy. And that is how you should create, really, So equally, you could add this as a bonus into your programs, factor those costs in to allow people to come. So obviously I did that to my mastermind. Not everybody came. But overall, it was such a huge success, and now something that I will do going forward. So if you are interested either in, hosting your own retreat, then, and you want more details and the breakdown and all the things behind the scenes, I love to share all of this with the women inside my program. I don't gatekeep anything. I'll share suppliers, invoices, brainstorm itineraries and concepts and all of these things with the women inside my academy and the mastermind. So come and join us there. But equally, if you've seen any of the content on socials, you will know that this was absolutely breathtaking. We did full moon ceremony under a super moon, around a fire pit. After the women had like a dip in the swimming pool, they were toasting champagne, burning things that don't serve them. It was such a vibe and such a beautiful space that I have no choice. I want to do this every year, because seeing the transformation on the other end of that was so powerful to me, and so much confirmation that this is exactly where I'm meant to be and what I'm meant to be doing. So that was really special. So if you want to create something similar, then obviously come and join me inside my programs and I can help you with that. Equally, if you are wanting to experience something similar for yourselves, then the doors are open and the waiting list is open for the Portugal retreat, which is going to be in September, the last week of September in 2025. And I would love to have you there. So I'm going to pop all the details in the show notes if that is something that interests you. But the thing that I loved was it wasn't just about the things that I was facilitating and the activities and the exercises that I was taking the women through, what was so powerful. And equally for me as the mentor and facilitator, I got so much from the retreat as well, just being in the company of such incredible women, because there's so much beauty in those conversations, in the bits in between, in the moments of reflection, in the symbolic gesture of investing in yourself, taking time away from family, from loved ones, from daily operations, from your business, from kids, getting at 95% of your thoughts each day are recycled from the day before, and getting outside of your environment really forces your brain to think and act in different ways than it would do normally, just going through the motions of your normal daily routines. So therefore, different inspiration is going to come forwards, different ideas are going to come forwards, and equally being in proximity with different people than you would do every day, and having access to their insights and their feedback and their wisdom is a game changer in business, genuinely. And it's why I will always be attending retreats, because I believe as women, we should always gift ourselves this sacred space to get out of our everyday and to really be getting intentional around what are we doing in life, what are we doing, what are we creating, where are we going, why are we doing any of these things. But equally, being able to facilitate that for my clients is also really special too. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Obviously, I've taken you through like the concept, the planning stage, the how it was executed and delivered, the numbers behind the profit, and then equally how it was marketed and sold, and also the benefits of having a retreat. So if you have any follow-on questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I hope you've loved this episode. Make sure you like and subscribe for more episodes of the Wealthy Woman podcast.